Season 2, Episode 1, Voices of the Past. I woke up early in the morning and I slept badly, restlessly, and finally crept out of bed at dawn. At the same time I did, I overheard the Kahans moving downstairs. As Santa's guardians, they had to accompany her on her last journey. As soon as Santa accepted the status of White Widow, she was expected to sever all connections and contacts and become a hermit. From then on, she was supposed to roam around the world alone, living in poverty until death, and still, anything was better than being burned alive. I was not allowed to say goodbye to her. Priyanka kept looking askance at me since the maid had said those last words to me. Beware of the enemies that rule from the shadows. If I had to take into consideration all the warnings I had received during my stay in Calcutta, I should have been more worried about practically everything. I sluggishly got out of bed and intended to make myself look presentable. Episode 1, Outfit 1, Outfit 2, and Casual. I don't know how you guys feel about Outfit 1, let me know. But I'm gonna go with the Outfit 2. Just saying. Santa has warned me about the danger more than once, and even when she was doomed herself, she didn't stop her attempts to tell me about something. She said that someone was getting rid of her this way. I think they wanted to get rid of both of them. It's a tragic coincidence. Manu was used. I'm gonna think about this one, while also changing the hair. Both of them. Manu was chosen for a reason. He served Dubé, and no one would cross him without a good reason. Manu was punished with death for doing something wrong. What if it's my fault? You're drawing the right conclusions. He let me into the library, and it was his fault that I ended up inside and stole the book. Could this be what caused his death? As soon as the thought formed in my head, I was hit by an overwhelming feeling of guilt. I started nervously fiddling with the fabric of my clothing, my mind racing with the possibilities of what could have happened. But there have been other reasons, too. He could have been kept dangerous company or crossed someone's path. But it all comes down to the wedding and Santa. As I thought more and more about my guess, I realized if he was killed because he helped me, then the owners of the library are involved in this. And that means Amrit Dubé. And probably our, what is his name? Amrit Vashad or whatever. Vashad, I think. I clasped my hands behind my back and started pacing the room. I'm a little sus of him. Manu was talking to someone before the ceremony, and that person was giving him orders. I can't say for sure it was Dubé's voice, but that man sounded very authoritative. And what if it was all directly connected to our ritual murders? The knife that was used to murder Manu looked as though it had been designed specifically for rituals. Although the way in which he was killed is very different from our cases. Plus, there was only one killer, contrary to my recent thoughts that several people are involved in our murders. Especially if I listen to Santa. She has no reason to lie. They tried to get rid of her right away, which means they wanted to silence her. I folded my arms and kept thinking. Anyway, there's no use wondering about this all by myself. By lunchtime, I was already at the embassy. My colleagues arranged a meeting in the cafeteria. Killian met me there. We can change his outfit now. Shirt and trousers, jacket and trousers, t-shirt and jeans. I still do dig the black, but I might go jacket and trousers. Jacket and trousers. And Lima, all your relationships have improved. Oh, we can change her shirt too. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I kinda do dig it, because it also lets it out all of her hair, right? Ooh. Okay, no offense, but I dig this one. But I also dig this one because of the long hair. It's really pretty. Shut up, leave me alone. Alright, I'm choosing that one, leave me alone. I like her hair the other way, though. I wish you could mix them. How are you feeling? Dreadful. I wish you really could customize your love interests a little bit more. We sat at the table, and Killian made us coffee. I've been thinking about what happened at the wedding. It's pretty obvious that everything was premeditated. That much is clear. I wonder whether the groom's murder is related to our investigation. I have a feeling that everything is connected, but it may just be our paranoia. There's some shit going on in Calcutta, and many know about it. But they won't let strangers into it. I tried talking to guests yesterday. Everyone turned their noses up at me. They're definitely hiding something. People constantly exchanged glances and kept silent about something. It still bothers me that we weren't allowed back into the archive. Even Rattan couldn't get us in. Where is he, by the way? He went off the grid, so did the company he worked for. They all have vanished. Actions speak louder than words. He put all sorts of ideas into my head. He had been saying odd things as aura about him. Anyway, he really let us down. Now we have to either be on our own or look for another guide. What are we gonna do about the archive? We can study the ongoing cases. Some of them may be similar to ours. Gillian rubbed his chin. Your colleagues remembered your previous assumption. Let's go somewhere else. There are too many curious ears around here. We went to the embassy courtyard. The air was humid, heavy, and a sign that a storm was brewing. Gillian got straight to the point. I think they won't let us go through their papers. They didn't even let us back into the archive, so for them to poke our noses into the database or the ongoing cases, we shouldn't even be dreaming about it. Lima sank onto the bench, exhausted, looking at us. I don't want to return to London empty-handed after everything we saw. The murder at the wedding really threw me for a loop. We need to find out the truth and the exact number of victims at any cost. I started thinking about how we could get into the archive. One thought became louder than the others. It was completely absurd and wrong, and therefore possibly the most effective. We can sneak in at night. Yes, and get an earful from our superiors when they find out. How are they ever going to find out? How do you see it playing out, Amala? There are police officers there. The building is guarded. If we get caught, the diplomatic relations between our two countries will be at risk. Do you have any idea how much trouble we'd be in? Besides, we cannot use illegally obtained information in the investigation. Our diplomatic relations are already at risk. A British citizen was killed during a ritual. Amala, when I said that I needed to get to the truth at any cost, I meant something different. I jumped up, throwing my hands in the air. Come on, we were sent to the edge of the world to deal with some goddamn case. Our colleague died. The locals are running interference and aren't being helpful. It almost feels like they're covering up those involved in the murders. We have the right to act the way we want. Our main goal is to find the diplomat. If we do everything carefully, we won't get caught. They exchange glances. This is a stupid, reckless idea, and it's a criminal offense. My connections can get us out of tight spots, but everything has its limits. This is a bad idea. The game is not worth the candle. Oh, I get it. It took me a second. I need to push and persuade them. Convince them. Sometimes there are things that you can't achieve by totally legal means. My grandmother fled from India and her husband. Contrary to her family's rules and traditions, she was looking for a better life. You, Gillian, were an unscrupulous mercenary, and now you're an attaché for the British government. Honest, straightforward methods are great. If the locals keep getting in the way, however, we need to find a different way. Resourcefulness, willingness to do anything for the sake of your goal, looking for workarounds. All this distinguishes proactive people from ordinary ones. People who are not submitting to circumstances, but changing them for their own gain. Gillian spreads his hands helplessly and nodded warily. Fine, let's think about this, even though it's absurd. To be fair, there's absolute chaos going on around, and we're the only ones trying to play by the rules. So, to hell with them. The British government has a personal interest in this case. We have to act quickly. What? But Lightwood didn't answer. If we find something in the archive, how will we explain it in our report? We'll make something up. I'm sure we won't be the first ones to do that, and we won't be the last. We went home, agreeing to consider my option. I was about to enter the house when I noticed a small black box on the front door. There was a flower next to it. A gift. Take a look. It's very pretty, but it's a rose. Something tells me it's from Dubai. A card was tied to the stem of the rose, and there was an inscription on the front. From A to A. From Amrit for me? They sent me a gift? I wonder what's inside. I'll put it away, open it. I'll just read the back of the card first. Jewelry made of beautiful moonstones is perfect for a woman like you. Moonstones. Open the box. Jewelry from Amrit. It's very small. It's really too bad they don't like blow up the jewelry so we could like see it. But, you know, it is what it is. It's beautiful. Why did he send me a gift all of a sudden? I hadn't noticed much interest on his part, and I'm wary of him after the events of the wedding. But I decided to keep the jewelry. I really liked it. Once in my room, I changed into pajamas and got ready to take some needed rest. In my desk drawer, there was a diplomat's diary that I never got to read. I decided to spend my free evening studying it. An obsessive thought kept circling through my mind. I was visited by the dead whose cases we were investigating. Mr. Rose will probably come to me too. He was insufferable alive, so I'm sure he'll drive me crazy as a bhoot. But the atmosphere in the room remained the same. There was no green, red, blue haze. It was all clear. I decided not to overthink it and went to the bedside table to take out the diary. A moment later, I was sitting on my bed, leafing through Mr. Hayes' diary. I'll take a look at... I'm assuming this is all of them. We can choose all of them? His notes. I returned to the beginning of the diary. The diplomat's neat handwriting, complete absence of typos, caught my eye. That and his schedule, where everything was planned down to the minute. His precise, contentious, hyper-responsible. That's the first thing I thought of. He's not the kind of person to do stupid things. I'll take a look at the place where the pages were torn out. I got to the part where, right before the torn-out pages, I started reading. I feel paranoid, haunted by the constant feeling of being watched. I know for sure they are looking for me, but there is no way to return to London. I need to stay in the room, only place I'm safe. They're waiting for me to come out. I'm terrified of the person accompanying me, Mr. The line broke off. Its end must have been on the torn-out page. Damn it! I'll take a look at the end of the diary. I flipped through to the end just before the cover. The notes were erratic, jottings, as if made in a hurry. Not at all like the pedantic diplomat who wrote every letter of word as though they were the utmost importance. Influential family, events of the past, bloody cliff, the cult of pain. It says nothing concrete, just fragments of thoughts, but they're so disturbing. They're making me wonder. I'll take a look at, think it over. I put away the diary, pondering for a few moments, as if I was solving a puzzle in my head. I think... Someone killed him because of his curiosity. Someone had been stalking him. He was writing about someone looking for him. The hotel staff confirmed that Hayes didn't really leave the room and only accepted food from one trusted person. It can be attributed to paranoia, but in our present circumstances, his fear might have been well-founded. You came to the right conclusion on your first try. Hot damn! Look at me go. But who could have been afraid of? There are several possibilities, but I think it was the man who accompanied him, an influential family, a local cult, an influential family. He wrote about it at the end of the diary. He also wrote about the cult of pain. Besides, only influential people have such power and ability to have someone followed anywhere. But which family is so influential in Calcutta? Only one name came to mind. Is it the Dubays? It's too early to blame them. They're not the only rich family in the city this big. But I decided to keep this idea in my head. You think the Dubay family has something to do with Hayes' disappearance? Let Amrit explain first where he slithered off to, right after Manu's murder. I stood up. The fact that I was talking to myself out loud didn't bother me at all. On the contrary, it was a little calming. I know exactly which direction we should take. Now you have a theory of your own. The only thing left to do was get into the archive, find out the rest. To do this, I needed to wait for Killian's response, even though I knew he wasn't too thrilled about my idea. He values his job, that's understandable, but at the same time, he needs to complete the mission. Playing by the rules, we will never achieve anything. Unlike us, the killer breaks them without thinking about it twice. We dined in silence. There was no maid anymore, so the cook set the table, and Priyanka served. Aryan silently read the newspaper, and his wife tried to entertain me with light conversation. "Do you have enough clothes, Amala? Should I get you some new saris?" "No, thank you." "You look gloomy." "That's because I'm angry at the way Sana was treated. The guests were very cruel to her. She had only been married for a couple of minutes, but they punished her with the fate of a widow as if she was guilty of something." Ariane put the newspaper and looked at me sternly. "Such as our traditions and rules. You can't change them." "What does it have to do with rules? It's human cruelty." "Even if they had been married for a second, this does not negate the fact that the husband's death is the wife's fault." That is a dumb rule, and I get it, it's your thing, but it's just dumb to me. "Atonement for her sins. If the husband died right at the wedding, can you imagine what a crime Sana have committed before the gods?" "No." "What nonsense. I disagree. Her life has been destroyed." "And I'm not asking you to agree. Just keep quiet. I wasn't asking for your opinion." And I did keep quiet. There was no bringing her back, so there was no point in arguing with my hosts. "She wasn't burnt alive. That's already a mercy." Wandering around somewhere lonely, poor, it's painful to think about. And this is what he calls mercy? "You, a British woman, cannot understand this. Don't teach us what's right and what's wrong." This one's a tough one. I mean, she does have Indian blood running through her veins. She was raised in a different country, that's it. But she still has the same blood in her veins. I do agree with both of these. But I'll stick with the bottom one. Rage of Goddess. It's dreadful if everyone here holds these views. I frowned. England is closer to you than India. I mean, it is where we were born or raised, you know. At least I believe born, but it's hard for me to accept these traditions. Maybe I should try to improve my understanding of their culture, delve deeper. But it will be extremely difficult. He didn't answer anything. He probably didn't want to argue with me either. The conversation faded away awkwardly. Priyanka then spoke in a timid voice. "Fresh Amelia has beautifully decorated your room." "What?" "The rose in your room. The variety is called Amelia, and it's such a beauty." She continued her breakfast. She's talking about the flower that Amrit sent me. Lightning flashed in the gloomy sky, and the wind became cooler. I was going to meet my colleagues at the market. After a while, Killian and Lima arrived. "I've been watching the department for several days. I know there's shifts." "So you agree?" "Don't be so happy, Amala. If we get caught, all three of us will be in serious trouble. It's just a shortcut. Asking for help from above would be a bureaucratic nightmare." "You didn't have a choice. There was no other options anyway." "So, how do we do this? It won't be easy to get in there." "No, it's simple. We need to distract 2 officers on duty. There's no need to be afraid of the CCTV. They don't even have any of that yet. We need 1 person to warn us and distract the officers in case something happens." Lakshman came to mind, but he would never agree to help me. "One of us will have to volunteer." "I'll take care of everything. I'm just the most suited for the job." "I could do it." "Don't be a hero. Let's do what's logical." Lima didn't argue, and there was no point in choosing me, as I was the only one who could read and translate the text. "The locals won't help you, so you have to manage on your own." "So what do we do with the officers?" "We need to distract them somehow, gently, without harming them. And we need a plan B, maybe some kind of sedative." Grandma was good with herbs. When I had a headache or Kieran's back hurt after a training, she always brewed us some sort of concoction, and they worked great. But will I remember how to make one? I'll do without a plan B. Okay, Kermit. Woohoo! Mom used to suffer from insomnia. Grandma would make a herbal remedy, and my mom fell asleep within 10 minutes. It's an old Indian recipe, but I remember it well. Seriously? Amala, this could help us a lot. We need lavender, thyme, peppermint oil, and pasque flower. The latter is a rather rare plant, but I think we can find it. We started buying the necessary ingredients. We bought ready-made spices, and so I didn't have to grind them in a mortar myself. That's the best part. It's when they're the freshest. Come on now. I'm done. Ding ding! Sleeping concoction. There was only one thing left to do. A distraction. We followed Killian's plan. He paid some local boys and girls, and I explained to them what to do. They would make some noise near the department, attract attention, and then scatter. Many of them were skilled thieves, surviving only in this way. Teasing the police and running away was not something that they hadn't done before. This would have given us half an hour in the archive, no more. Upon hearing some noise, the officers left the department, hurrying to sort out the mess, which we arranged. Killian entered first. If someone was left inside, he would immediately deal with them without fussing. To our surprise, there really were only 2 officers left inside. I see the eyes in the door, but both of them were peacefully dozing in their chairs in front of the TV. The door was open. There were half-finished tea, half-eaten rotis next to them. I couldn't believe my eyes. I whispered, "You said there were only 2 officers on duty, didn't you?" Usually, yes. We saw 2 come out, so there must have been 4 in total. But why? We took a closer look. There were a couple of bottles on the table. Maybe they came to pass the time? What happens if your concoction is mixed with alcohol? I don't know, I've never tried it, but they seem sound asleep. The atmosphere is inviting. The warmth, the soothing sound of the TV, no work to do, and a nice drink before bed. Let's do everything quietly and leave. There's no need to be noisy. I'll go outside, be on the lookout if the officers come back early. I'll think of something. Be as quick as you can. No wasting another minute, we quickly entered the archive. I'm gonna go look through the photos and the ongoing cases to help you. Thank you. Lima began to rummage through the desks and folders. Killian overestimated them. There are only typewriters everywhere. If something is filed, everything must be in the archive or the current case folders. Take the ongoing cases. I'll look in the archive. The air inside was stuffy, as usual. Damp, stale smell and the low ceiling would have made anyone feel claustrophobic. I immediately rushed to the shelves with the non-local cases, which were usually brought in from small towns. As there were specialists in Calcutta, these cases were sent here for the more thorough investigation. As a result, many cases were dropped and sent to the archive. Well, looking for something close to Calcutta. I sat down skimming through the case folders. At some point, I got a little dizzy. I felt queasy. All too a familiar feeling caused me to panic. No, not again. Everything went dark. It's fun time! When I opened my eyes, the archive was immersed in a green haze. No, please, not here, not now. I smelled incense and decomposition. Damn it! I got to my feet, already knowing what I was going to see. A shadow moved between the shelves and floated into the light. Here you are. What? Really? Oh, come on, that was super short to me. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's super short, kind of good, but fine, whatever. 1 to independence, 1 to loyalty, 6 to respect, 2 to rage, 0 to kindness. And diamonds. Alright, so as you can see here, we have started Season 2. This is episode 2 of 12. with that being said, hopefully you all did enjoy. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. I had down the description of the video, plenty of things to check out there, and without further ado, let me say the following. So, as I posted on the community tab on our YouTube, pretty much I'm getting to this as fast as humanly possible. It's November, for starters. Just to give you a frame of mind in case you're watching this in, say, December or whenever. So, for us Americans, we have this thing called Thanksgiving. As you can tell, I really sound enthusiastic about it. So pretty much, a lot of hectic stuff goes on, for a lot of us, but also it's about that time of year when holidays and everything else are kicking in. Plus, we just came off of Grindfest from a lot of different games, apps, and the whole 9 yards. As I promised you, I would start hitting this, again, and here I am. So look forward to more of this. I just have a question, though. I'm noticing this app is doing a lot more Diamond Rush events, lately. And this was pointed out to a person, or from a person in my Discord, and they were really wondering, and kind of concerned about why they're doing so many. They pointed out that they've done like 4 in just a couple months. So I don't know if that's, again, as a person who's just, started on this app. I don't know, maybe you guys can shed some light for those of you who have been here longer than a year. Do they do this around the holiday season or whatnot, right? Because it does leave some concern or whatnot. And, in case the devs ever watch or listen to me, if you guys, because I've seen a lot of good apps in my time, Story Escapes, for instance, go down, unfortunately, due to funding, and a lot of other apps, too. But Story Escapes is the most recent one. If you guys are having like a funding issue or whatnot, that's the only thing I can think of, right? Or whatnot. Let the community know. I'm sure like there's a lot of apps and games out there that do a lot of crowdfunding in ways that, just in case the app isn't able to generate enough through diamond sales or ads, I'm sure a lot of us would be more than happy to help you out, right? I mean, imagine all the people that play this app. I'm just saying a dollar a month, even. It's something that even as a content creator, we aim for is just the very low minimum, just to keep the lights on, pay a bill, things like that. So in case you guys are having an issue like that, which I'm hoping, again, some just discussion and whatnot in our Discord has kind of like made me think, right? And I'm an overthinker, so. But hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully they're just being super generous. And again, for those of you who have been around a lot longer, let me know your thoughts or if this is something that is just normal. That being said, once again, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for definitely being here. And I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace out.